Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Kraus and Mr. Soskin, I want to follow up on Representative Norton's question regarding assistance to transit agencies. Mr. Kraus, Ms. Kraus, you mentioned problems cities are having. Can you expand on that? Can you tell us what those problems you mentioned?
What I was getting at is more the time that it takes at the local level to determine how to distribute the funds when you're at the urbanized area and the funds are down at that level. There is some discussions at the local level as to how to dedicate those funds to the different and often multiple providers that are at the local level. So that's what's playing out in terms of some of the transit funding now.
Is there any other problems in that?
No, as I said before, I mean, I think when we've talked to transit agencies, largely implementation has gone, they found few challenges with implementation of the program from FTA.
Thank you. Mr. Soskin, Ms. Krause mentioned you would be able to expand on the issues of assistance to transit agencies. Can you please explain your work and findings on assistance to transit agencies?
Absolutely, Congresswoman Napolitano. We have two audits planned on Federal Transit Administration relief funding oversight. It's a sort of a two-phase audit, one of which will be the design of the FTA's controls for requirements and oversight risks during the awarding and life cycle of the grants that they're providing to transit agencies. And the second phase or second audit will be a look at the implementation of their controls. In the relief funding management challenges report that we identified for the Department of Transportation last year, we also recognized several of the other oversight challenges and challenges that transit agencies will face with these funds. One is that there's an interesting hybrid here of providing funds through an existing program, but providing them for new purposes in terms of the operating expenses and the 100% federal share of those operating expenses. And we look forward in our work to examining how the oversight and how the expenditures work, given that new purpose within an existing program. And the other challenge we highlight is monitoring funding and FTA's past reliance in many cases on either self-certifications by transit agencies of their compliance with eligibility and funding conditions, as well as the reliance on oversight contractors, oversight support personnel who can be contractors, who of course are a valuable and important resource when the spigot of funds opens suddenly, as it has with pandemic relief funding and as it has with hurricane relief funding in the past with the ARA funding a decade ago. But ensuring that those support personnel are properly trained, that they're familiar with the federal oversight restrictions, and that they have methods to ensure that attention is brought to their recommendations and issues they identify will be critical.
Well, one of the major transit agencies indicated that they were having problems securing the PPEs. Can you tell me why?
I'm not familiar with the details of that issue of securing PPEs. I'm not sure if we have done work in that area, but my staff and I would be happy to follow up with you about that question and work with the department to try and get you a specific and accurate response.
Thank you very much. I think it would be important to find out why the distribution was held up to the states and then filtered down to the counties. And it made a great problem for my transit agencies, especially the little ones too. Thank you very much.